Hi everyone. Recently spent some time in the city of Freiburg, a charming place in southwest Germany in the Black Forest. Now this area of Switzerland, southern Germany has historically had great thinkers and great professors and highly acclaimed universities. And I found out one of the world's top astrophysicists, Dr. Bergigina, was here. She is looked at as a world expert in how the universe works and in exoplanets. She does TED Talks and is well known in astrophysics circles.
Out there in the universe. And the Earth is just one of them. In this universe, we are really tiny.
I wanted to interview her, but how? I thought about it and I created an alias, David Howard from Oxford University Media Society, and created some online material supporting this front. After some well thought out, tricky and delicate emails, I got the appointment. Now before we get into the interview, for those new to the channel, know that gravity is just a theory, and my blog in 2015 explained the errors with gravity, and that it can be explained away by density and buoyancy. This blog had over 50,000 views, with not one person debunking it. Also worth knowing is that in 1931, a book called 100 Authors Against Einstein was published in German, and is in the description. This shows 100 scientists stating Einstein was leading science into pseudo-mysticism, abstraction and speculation. It was crushed by mainstream science. Obviously in this interview I couldn't say what I really wanted to early on, as I didn't want her to walk out. I wanted her to cover more subjects and get more answers. So take a seat and buckle up. Hello, Dr. Bergigina.
Hello.
If you could just spend 1 minute or 30 seconds explaining who you are and what you've done.
Yeah, so I grown up in Russia. I fell in love with astronomy, first with physics and then with astronomy. And I realized that I want to understand the universe. I cannot live on Earth without knowing what's above my head. I just felt like I need to know. I went to the university, studied astrophysics and mathematics, lots of programming, because when we were studying astronomy, we were told that astronomy is not just science by itself, it's very interdisciplinary. So to be an astronomer or astrophysicist, you need to know physics, mathematics, programming, and I must tell right now, lots of social skills.
Yeah, sure. Great. I've got a few questions for you, mainly going to go to teenagers. They're probably questions you don't hear often, or you probably heard when you were a lot younger. I have a couple of questions about the moon. I'm sure this is just an error with NASA. This is a famous image called Earthrise, but there's a problem with it because the Earth's too small. Okay, moon viewed from Earth is this size, and Earth viewed from moon should be a lot bigger.
Well, the moon size also changes through month and through years, because orbit of the
apogee, perigee.
Yes, orbit of the moon is not exactly circular.
Sure, but the Earth should still be a lot bigger than it is in that very famous image.
I didn't compare it, but we have to. I mean, in principle, one has to calculate what was exactly distance at that time of the picture, and then calculate the size of the Earth from that distance, angular, and then...
I've had some physicists do the maths on it, and they said it is a big error.
I see.
It's very interesting.
Yeah. Well, this is like to the stories, maybe they were not there.
This is interesting. Some people I know were measuring the moon. They're interested in space and the sky. The moon was photographed at the same time in Australia and Florida. How would that be how's that possible?
Okay.
And this can be repeated in different sides of the globe, shall we say?
Yeah. Well, they are definitely upside down, so that's...
It's rotated,
yes, you can, I mean, with respect to each other.
But the same phase.
Oh, well, it's the same phase, yes. Why should it be different? Because the phase of the moon depends on the sun.
Because one of these locations shouldn't be able to see it. on the globe, say the moon's here in Florida, the guy in Queensland shouldn't really be able to see it.
But this is a full moon, close to the full moon.
Close to full moon.
So this means that there is an angle at which it's seen. So full moon means that the Earth,
opposite.
Yeah, the moon is opposite to the sun. Yeah?
But still, with the globe, with the Earth being a globe, it shouldn't be able to see them both at the same time. And this is being repeated. This is an anomaly that some people can't work out.
If somebody does it, so it's possible. For me, it's like this, you know. You cannot say me impossible if somebody does it.
Sure.
So then I say it's possible, and then you can ask why it is possible. Then I do calculations.
Yeah.
So I would say you cannot argue. If this is not a fake news,
I can verify this.
You know, if it's not a fake news,
yeah.
then you have to say, okay, interesting, it's possible. I would like to understand why, and then maybe it's possible only a few times a year. You know,
It could be done daily.
Daily, okay.
Even
then,
with just after new moon.
Then it's fine. You know, then it means that moon is far enough from Earth that in a close to the full moon, yeah, you can see it like from the front and from the edge.
But in the model, there's a model software called Celestia.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know Celestia?
I don't know. Yeah, there are many.
It's a mod. Yeah, there's many.
Yeah,
It's a 3D model of the solar
Yeah,
system. When you put this date and time in, you shouldn't be able to see the moon from both places. So there's a problem somewhere.
So probably model is wrong. I'd say. This is for me, as a scientist, we're always like, okay, there's a puzzle, there's observation, which is true data, and there's a model which cannot confirm the data. Then I'm sorry, the model is wrong. So
you would say direct experience is the king.
yes,
I
absolutely.
agree with you.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I totally agree with you.
If this is possible, like you,
The data has to match
then the model is wrong. Then your program probably
because that's science.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay, with the moon, it does this other strange thing. On a solar eclipse, you know where
Yes.
coincidentally the sun and moon appear the same size, which we're saying is a coincidence, yeah? The moon does a shadow on the Earth, yeah? Now this shadow is 100 miles wide.
Yeah.
This is the only phenomena in our experience here in this reality where the shade is smaller than the objects casting it. So you can do 1 million experiments with shadows. The shadow's never smaller than the object casting it. And here we have the moon, it shrinks its shadow. The people I speak to just can't work out why this can be. It's something I can't get my head around either. Because it should be
This is
thousands of miles.
This is a parallax. Yeah. So this shadow and the toy is long way from the light. Okay, the shadow is decreasing.
No, it's not. It's always the same size. It can't go smaller than the object casting it. It says tiny shadow. This word here should really say same size shadow.
Yes, it can if you do it from the top. Then the shadow is very small.
There's another image somewhere. So think of sun and clouds. The clouds will always cast a shadow bigger or the same size as the cloud. There's no phenomena in this reality where, say my pen, can we get light? My pen, and the light comes on my pen, the shadow can never be smaller than the pen. Or my bottle. Say the sun's out today.
Yeah, but look, if the sun in the zenith and you are standing under the sun, your shadow is much smaller than you. Because it's from the top.
Okay, say the sun was right above my head, like the solar eclipse.
Yeah.
The shadow would not be smaller than my head. You with me?
Yeah, the cross section. Yeah.
It wouldn't go smaller than my head. So say I was 50 meters up in the sky, and the sun was right above my head, and it went on me. The shadow on the ground would be the same size or a little bit bigger. This is the only phenomena in our reality where something creates a shadow smaller. This is a problem.
I don't think it's a problem. Maybe you caught me on a spot, but I have to think about it. Some of these questions are I don't solve every day.
Sure. This is why
I have to think about it.
But this is science. This is why we question things.
Absolutely. I mean, this is I don't think this is unexplained. I'm sure it is explained. I have to think about it. Yes.
Going on to something a bit interesting here. This is recognized all around the world as the spherical trigonometry of the curvature of the Earth, yeah? So, do you prefer kilometers or miles?
I prefer kilometers.
Okay. If we were to look 50 kilometers, there should be 195 meters below the curvature. It's 195 meters drop. Does that make sense? So if I walked in a straight line 50 kilometers, I would have dropped.
Okay, because of the curvature.
Because of the curvature of the Earth. This is, how much is that? 195 meters.
Okay.
Yeah? So for 20 kilometers, there will be 31 meters drop.
Okay.
This has been verified through universities and astrophysicists.
Okay.
What if I told you I knew some people who, over 4 years, have done about 50 to 100 experiments, and they can see lighthouses and have done laser tests over between 30 and 60 miles. So like a laser hits a mirror across a long lake, like Lake Constance, near Constance, near here, and seeing things like Chicago's skyline from across Lake Michigan from 50 miles away. And they factored in the height of the person and all the maths, and that these people actually cannot find the Earth's curvature. And there's many using the P900 camera. Have you heard of this camera? It's 86 times zoom. And there are people I know, especially in America, who are doing loads of these tests and they can't find this curvature. What would you say to these people?
They have to take into account the height at which
They
they
are.
stay.
They are.
And the height of the mirrors.
They are. Even if it's 50 centimeters, they're putting that into their calculations.
How do they measure the height of their own height on the Earth? They have to know it very precisely. If they want to measure 20 feet.
Sure. What they do, they're actually generous. So say they set up a tripod at 1 meter, they actually put into the calculations 2 meters.
No, I mean height, like relative height of you, because Earth is not really round. Yeah, it has bumps. That's what I mean. How do you take bumps into account?
So this is really interesting. This is 3 oil rigs, and the furthest one is 26 miles away. You shouldn't be able to see it. I mean, we can say the Earth is flat in some places and more curved in others, but these guys have done so many tests. This is 26 miles away, and the horizon's behind it. Now, they say in mainstream physics, the horizon's 12 miles away. With this new camera, the P900, they're seeing things 20, 30, 40 miles away. And this is getting pretty crazy.
I don't know. This is, again, like the facts you bring, I don't know what these people are doing, first of all.
They're testing stuff with their eyes because they don't trust the governments, these people.
Oh, Jesus Christ, I don't want even to talk about this, I'm sorry.
Why don't you want to talk about it?
This goes crazy.
But this is science, right? You're a scientist.
No,
You're a scientist.
I don't accept this.
How can you not accept it? It's right in front of you. The oil rig's 21 miles away.
No, I don't. I want to have...
this is a test. It's a scientific test.
Who did this? Can I trust those people who published this picture?
I'm verifying these people. I know these people.
Well, okay, but this doesn't tell me anything.
Okay, how about you and I go to the lake one day and we take a P900 camera and I'll show you something really, really fucking crazy.
Well, again, there are forces in the universe, yeah? So there is atmosphere, you have to take refraction into account, you have to take geographical profile of the surface. It's not that, oh, I take a camera. You know, I have these people visiting me sometimes.
But they're not doing it, but they're doing lasers as well. You know there's lasers that cost $2,000?
I know.
And there are people who've done 25 miles, 30 kilometers tests.
I can see mountains 40 kilometers away.
Yeah, but they're high up.
Why do you claim that this is not high up?
Come on, you're smarter than this. Say you have a lake, 30 miles, water's, yeah? And you have a person here firing a laser, and you have a person here with a mirror. And
why do you claim it's on the same...
there should be curvature. With the official size of the Earth, there should be detectable curvature of about 30 meters in some cases, maybe more. And people can't find it.
There are other things to be counted. Not only just claiming, oh, there's no curvature. You have to count shape of this thing where the water is, how it feels, what's the gravity there, What is the
gravity there will be the same as the gravity everywhere.
Refraction of the atmosphere.
But okay, there's a test where a guy went back every day and did the same test because of different atmosphere, different atmospheric haze.
This refraction is on average always the same.
But refraction can't make a human being jump up 30 meters.
You can see light of the sun from below of horizon.
Sure. this is like refraction, I understand this,
Yes.
but what they did in one test, he proved that it's not refraction because there was a tree above the person here, and you could see the tree and everything. He said, well, where does the refraction start and stop? You know, like a mirage.
Okay, so for me, it's not science if somebody says it.
But there's tests.
We have, in science, we have a system. We don't believe everything what people say or what they measure. They are publishing results in scientific papers. There is always peer review to that.
Sure.
And there are questions to the results. They have to provide all the data, all the measurements. And even if it's published, it's not, if it's just somebody published this and somebody repeats it and cannot reproduce it.
This has been repeated. I could show you 50 different people.
In which journal is published?
I could tell you for a fact that mainstream science is really not happy with these people and is shutting them down. And I could tell you another thing for a fact, that governments and government websites are also not happy.
What are you claiming?
I'm just not claiming anything. I'm here to ask questions.
No,
I don't have any
what are you
conclusions.
claiming? That these results prove that Earth is not curved.
I'm not saying that. I'm not making any claims, and I don't have any labels. What I'm saying to you is, this is strange. What do you think?
I think these measurements have to be verified by scientists. It's like claiming
But everyone's a scientist.
UFO. No, not
I disagree.
everyone. We are trained. We are trained as scientists. We are trained with the analytical skills and scientific judgment. Even if we don't know something for sure, we can judge based on the other lots of knowledge of scientific facts.
Okay.
And not everyone can do measurement and say, look, I measured this. How do you prove it? I had one crazy person visiting me, taking pictures of dark places with the flash. And she was claiming there are these little dust particles which she sees on the flash picture. These are UFOs.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Okay,
but this is the fact.
Sure.
She took a picture of the dust particles, scattered light. But her interpretation was, these are UFOs.
But if 100 different people have done this test with this new camera, 86 times zoom, at lakes, all around the world, peer-to-peer, there's a place peer-to-peer in England, and they're getting the same results of missing curvature, that's scientific method, observable, repeatable, measurable. That's the scientific method. And you applying the word refraction isn't scientific method.
It is.
Well, where's your results that show refraction explains these tests away?
I can see sunlight from the behind of the horizon when the sun is down.
That doesn't mean that humans can jump up 30 meters.
What do you mean jump?
Okay, so say this human in this tree should be 30 meters below the curvature. You can't use the word refraction for them jumping up 30 meters, the tree and the person.
How do you, why do you claim that your calculations are right? I'm not verifying right now.
I'm pretty smart. I'm pretty smart. And
okay,
I verified.
I have to trust you. I see you first time.
But that's what I say to you. I could send you some data for you to do some.
Thank you.
But that doesn't make you a scientist.
No. It means that I don't want to do this particular project because I'm interested in many other projects.
But you're coming to conclusions without doing tests. That's not very scientific.
I'm not making a conclusion. Any.
But as an astrophysicist, surely you'd want to look at something like that.
No.
Why not?
I'm not interested.
Why would that be?
Because I'm busy with much bigger questions than that.
And you think this is nonsense?
I think it's nonsense.
The detectable curvature.
Yes.
What would be your first reason for this being nonsense?
Because it's proven curve is round.
Could you show me the scientific methods experiment that did that?
Oh yes, it's done in 2,000 years ago.
Which test was this? Is this the sticks in the ground one?
Sticks in ground. Ships on the horizon.
I could show you with this camera ships, you know, they go over the curvature. I could show you them coming back.
Okay.
Reappearing.
So it works?
Huh?
So it works in your case? It's okay, fine. I'm not going to talk to people who claim that Earth is flat.
I'm trying to find answers to some very interesting
things. It's just enough for me. It's enough of nonsense. That woman was coming to me 3 times and always.
But you can't project her onto me. I'm a completely different person.
I am sorry. Do you say this picture is the data? She claimed exactly the same.
No, but this is the picture. This is video. This is video.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. And
This is the data, the curvature model that every university in the world
Okay.
goes with.
Fine.
And this has
but-
big problems.
Make these measurements on the moon. Make these measurements on the moon. Make these measurements on the moon.
How would we
And
get
you
to
will
the
be-
moon? They said they lost the data recently.
And you will, no, go to the moon yourself. Go to the moon yourself. So, sorry, we live on the planet with the water and the atmosphere and gravity and uneven shape. And if somebody measures something which doesn't fit exactly circle of the Earth, I'm sorry for this person, because this is idealistic model.
You think they just got lucky and found a flat area?
I don't know what, it's probably just whatever. It's randomness. In order to prove that Earth is flat, I have to take million measurements at million places.
I would say there's about 500 measurements of lack of curvature that are very well done with calculations.
It's your judgment.
No, it's not my judgment. It's not my judgment. They exist. These tests exist.
They are claims.
No, they're
We say in
actual. They're
science
tests.
claims.
They're actually tests.
These are claims. If they are not verified, these are just claims.
But you're saying they have to be verified by the scientific community?
Yes.
What if the scientific community at a high level is just shutting this information down?
Well, I can tell you. You can go and collect leaves, for instance, yeah, because it's interesting. It's biology. Yeah? You collect leaves, it's biology. You come to the biologist and you say, look, this leaf is a little different than this one. How would you explain this? And he says, well, it's just natural variations. I'm not interested in this. And you say, oh, you are a biologist and you're not interested in this interesting thing. Why this leaf is different from that? It's biology, it's science, and you're not interested.
These aren't like different leaves. These are the same, different tests of the same thing coming with the same results. That's highly scientific.
I should have asked your credentials before I talked to you. I'm sorry.
Here she demanded that I stop the recording, as she was super flustered and angry. Now, before I tell you what happened, just remember what she said earlier in the interview.
This is, for me, as a scientist, we're always like, okay, there's a puzzle, there's observation, which is true, data, and there's a model which cannot confirm the data. And I'm sorry, the model is wrong. So,
you would say direct experience is the king.
Yes.
So she is a contradictory mess of a scientist. And this person is one of the world's top astrophysicists. It's laughable. And regarding the oil rig, I mean, in the words of Nathan Oakley, if you're a fundamentalist religious zealot, then that's not an oil rig at 26 miles. That would be a slightly looming non-standard refraction, high in a holographic projection of an oil rig from behind the reified edge of a sphere based on an R value, turning the oil rig which seems to be there into an oil rig which is not actually there. That's what you have to assert if you are Professor Dr. Bergigina, who is paid well to mind control young humans into thinking the same. So she then demanded that I delete the interview. So I secretly uploaded it to the cloud as I kept her talking and calmed her down. She then told me I would need written permission to publish this anywhere. I'm afraid that's not really Waykiwayki policy, as there's a bigger picture than her theoretical pseudoscience supported on the foundations of fragile egoistic arrogance. I also do want to share my credentials. 50 metres swimming. That's it. As I left school at 15 because my soul knew it was all a load of garbage. And in that interview I think I'm the one that stayed rational, and she's the one that got emotional and flustered and defensive. You see, it's all about the elite building and paying for gatekeeper temples, and getting young people to pay to worship at them. It's a clever trick. The questions she couldn't answer are all answered in my Luminaries Mysterium documentary, where just 1 hour after I uploaded it, YouTube really shut me down and hid me from the search algorithms and removed subscribers without them knowing. My plan didn't end here though. I created double-sided flyers that are downloadable in the description, and a linked Instagram account full of memes, and then bombed the city, mainly student cafes. This whole method of undercover interviews and flyers is simple for anyone to copy and paste into other cities. I've shown you how easy it is. I've shown you that the top astrophysicists are frauds. You have the tools, as they simply have no scientific method proofs. It makes it fun. The second undercover interview I did in Freiburg was on a different subject and will be online in a few weeks' time.